Probably I manage my lows by going back into history and thinking of the deals which I won, thinking about my skills and the capabilities which brought me till that time or to that role, thinking about the wins, the small and the big wins which I had in the past, thinking about in general things that sales or this job is not the only thing which I have to do in 24 hours. You got to do other things as well. So trying to distract yourself from the negativities which keep on coming to you, that you will not win this deal, you're not good enough. The deal is going to go to the competition, your price is high, your product is not great. Rather than focusing on all those things, I would rather focus on why would I win, and the past,
Mm.
the historical facts which I have with me, where I won the deals, where I did a lot of good work, where I lifted the region, the territories, the countries where I worked.
Welcome to another episode of Value Seller Talks with Deepak Bajaj, where we meet the visionaries who transform the communities with innovation, integrity, and impact. Our guest today is Yatin Gandhi, a seasoned strategic sales leader with over 2.5 decades of experience in driving revenue growth, managing strategic partnership, and delivering transformative solutions across telecom, IT, and digital transformation. Yatin is a master at engaging with C-level executive, managing complex sales cycles, and leading cross-functional teams to deliver exceptional business outcome. And believe me, it's not an easy task. From spearheading to multi-million dollar deals to defining innovative strategies for emerging markets, he has consistently set benchmark in sales leadership and digital transformation. His engagement, by the way, he's based out of a beautiful country, South Africa, where he's continuously engaging and uplifting African communities, which is remarkable and always become a center of attraction. So today we will dive into his insights, his career highlights, definitely his learning, his experience, and get some motivation from all his journey across. Welcome, Yatin, at Value Talks.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you so much for having me here.
I
I'll be more than happy to engage with you and take the conversation forward.
Yeah. And thank you for taking the time. I know how, it's a difficult and it's a challenging for taking out the time, but thank you for giving us the opportunity to feature you.
No, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. So, Yatin, I just want to start with you as a person first. Who is
Okay.
Yatin Gandhi?
So I would say Yatin Gandhi is a storyteller, is a deal maker, is a people's person, is a person who values emotion, is a person who values honesty and transparency, and basically I'm a simple guy, and who has the basic simple thought processes and basic things.
Mm. People driven, simple guy, definitely you are. And that's the reason you have reached to this level. But you are based out of South Africa. You come from India. How this movement happened?
So that's an interesting story. What happened was, I am with this company called Tejas Networks. I started with them in 2008, and I used to handle the biggest private accounts for Tejas called Airtel, Bharti Airtel, and I ran it for almost 2.5 years. And then Airtel acquired a mobile company in Africa called Zain, which had operations in 17 countries. So what
Right.
happened is, to control this acquisition or to manage this acquisition, Airtel sent around 100 people from India, from basically from the head office in India in Gurgaon, and a few people from the opcos from the other states also, to to Nairobi, Kenya, which was the headquarters for Airtel Africa.
Mm.
So I was already engaging with all these people, in my 2.5 years of journey with Tejas, where I was the account manager for Airtel. Essentially, it's the same people who moved there, the same people with whom I had the relationships, the same people with whom I used to get business. So my company asked me, why don't you also relocate to Nairobi and manage Airtel Africa, and not only Airtel Africa, manage the Africa business for Tejas Networks. So then I moved to Nairobi in 2011, somewhere in 2011. And I was based in Nairobi. We started working with Airtel. Um, in the meantime, we also started working with other ISPs, wholesale providers, other telcos. And we did quite a good work. I think at one time, when I was leaving Nairobi, we had acquired around 34 customers in East, West, and Southern Africa. And then I moved to South Africa within the same company, that is Tejas Networks. So, as it's like South Africa is like the best country in Africa, they say, in terms of infrastructure, development, retail. So while I was in Nairobi, I used to travel frequently to Johannesburg, and then uh, it so happened that started considering of moving to Johannesburg. And in
Mm.
2015, I think we moved to Johannesburg. So that's the road to South Africa. That's my journey to South Africa. And it's been almost 7, 8 years plus that I've been in South Africa now.
And it's become your first home or second home? How should I call it?
Oh, this is my second home only. My first home remains in India, in Delhi. Yeah, this
Uh,
is my second home.
Nice, nice. But I understand the way you t mentioned about the development over here and the cleanliness of this country, and this country is very close to the nature. It's always been
Right,
an attraction, right? But
right. Yeah.
how you feel like moving from India, which is having a different culture, to African culture, and then again, Africa is also a diverse continent, right? Then Eastern to Southern Africa. How easy it was for you to adapt into that culture?
So there are multiple ways to answer this question, but I would say essentially, Deepak, that people are people, wherever they are, whichever country they are. It's the same people, the same way, similar way they talk, similar way they think, similar way they do business, and similar way they interact with each other. So I won't say that, I was completely thrown into a different territory where I would not even know how to talk to people, and then I evolved myself. It's nothing like that. As I said, I've been selling. When in 2011, when I was moving, I was in sales for almost 7, 8 years. So I knew the basic things of sales, relationship management, people management, and what customers think, how do they buy, what are their motivators, what are they looking for. So I just went to Africa with the same thoughts, with the same knowledge, to Kenya, and basically applied the same basic sales skills. And to my advantage, I would say the customers in Africa, particularly in East Africa, are very warm and very friendly. So they would essentially make you so comfortable while talking to them, while dealing with them, while dealing with the companies, that I would say it was much easier than India dealing with them, with Indians. So a lot of Indians are difficult to handle as customers, But in Africa, I would say, especially in East Africa, people are very friendly, very warm, and they're extremely easy to work with. So I would say nothing changed really. It was for the better. It was easy actually, working with the people in East Africa. Of course, Southern Africa has a different flavor. West Africa has a different flavor. But as I told you, ultimately the same people, these same similar buyers thinking of similar things. What are they motivated with? What value they look for? What are their motivations? What do they want to solve? So all similar things, similar people, just the different country.
But when I look at your profile, you started from a technical and then eventually you moved into sales. Most of the technical people don't want to go into this tough business of sales. how you made this transition and how this transition happened actually.
So, I would say from an academics perspective, yes, I was in technical. I am an engineer, electronics and communications engineer. I studied engineering like any other engineering graduate. But I would say while selecting engineering as my bachelor's degree when I was 18 years old, probably a lot of people like me, they don't know what they want to do in life. They don't know what to get into. So I was a very similar guy, back from India, middle class family, thinking parents wanting them to become an engineer or a doctor. So I was also very similar like that. I went for engineering without knowing what am I getting into. Do I really want to be an engineer? Do I like doing things around engineering? I didn't know about that. But during this 4 year journey of engineering, I found I basically experienced, or I would say I explored the the facets of my working with people, you know. I was more of a I can still call more of a sales guy than a engineering guy. So yes, I could get the overall engineer's view on a particular topic or on a particular product or a particular platform, but I enjoyed communicating the story around that product, around that platform,
Mm.
around that concept. As I said, I'm a storyteller. I enjoyed it- I enjoyed telling people about that product and rather going doing an R&D into that product and how that product is built and what are the different components that I probably did not enjoy. And
Mm.
communicating the different facets of that product and as I said, the story of the product was which fascinated me. So then out of engineering college, I think sales was a very natural thing which came to my mind and I started selling.
Mm. And definitely, sales is not easy, and all the
Yeah.
customers are not same. So,
Mhm.
elaborate what type of the typical challenges which you are facing during your sales journey, because everywhere the storytelling doesn't work when it comes to the numbers and the finances.
So first of all, when you mentioned about sales is not easy and sales, tell me about how would you sell? I you know what's the biggest job of a sales guy? I think it's to manage the highs and lows. Okay, a salesman becomes very high when he gets a big deal, a small deal, or whatever a deal, or get a new customer. Now the problem is that's not going to go happen every day. Rather, that would only happen few days in a year, let's say. Most of the days would be where you would not have a deal, you would not have a customer, you would be working for a deal, you would be engaged in a long sales cycle deal, you would be slowly trudging around the way towards a sale and not actually conclude the sale. So during this time, it's very demotivating and very I would say it's a difficult period before the sale. You have to manage your lows.
Mm.
You have to persist. You have to hang on. You have to continue what you were doing with the final goal that I will ultimately get it. I will ultimately get that 1 day high. And before that, you got to work for 180 days or 270 days or whatever it is. So managing those 270 days, is really difficult. That's the crux of it. If you can manage those days when you don't have a deal, then you can be a good salesman. Because I would say anybody can get a deal. Anybody can win customers. But what are you doing when you're not winning customers? What you're not doing deals? That's what makes a sales guy, I think.
Mm. Exactly. You pointed a very important thing at your lows. And when you are low, then no one is supporting you. You have a
Absolutely.
managerial pressure, customer is not picking up your calls, they
That's right.
become numb, silent after getting their
Absolutely.
proposal.
Absolutely right.
All these factors is actually make you to think multiple times that what I have did wrong. And
Gotten
where
into, yeah.
and definitely the fear of competition definitely
Mhm.
strikes. So now I want to, because this is a very important topic, then how you manage your lows. There should be some mantra, there should be something to keep you remain aligned towards your goal every time you are not calling the customers, right? It's a
Yeah. So, as I think any other person, managing lows is a very difficult part. I think probably I manage my lows by going back into history and thinking of the deals which I won, thinking about my skills and the capabilities which brought me till that time or to that role, thinking about the wins, the small and the big wins which I had in the past, thinking about in general things that, sales or this job is not the only thing which I have to do in 24 hours. You got to do other things as well. So trying to distract yourself from the negativities which keep on coming to you that, you will not win this deal, you're not good enough. Um, the deal is going to go to the competition, your price is high, your product is not great. Rather than focusing on all those things, I would rather focus on why would I win and, the past
Mm.
the historical facts which I have with me, where I won the deals, where I did a lot of good work, where I lifted the region, the territories, the countries where I worked, and that would probably those were the times which would bring me back into the game, and I would not be so depressed. So yeah, thinking about past and doing other things other than selling, I would say those things help me manage my lows.
That's a very important message because how to prevent yourself from the negativity and thinking about good vibes. Definitely, tomorrow morning you have a reviews, and then it's a very hard. That's where you
Yeah,
become a more emotional, stronger person. And I think
yeah,
that's the quality of every human. There should be a quality
right,
of every human.
absolutely.
Hmm. And I'm pretty much sure you face this situation multiple times in
Oh,
your.
absolutely, absolutely. Every day we've been jostling with this. I think every sales guy does this every day. Because the deals, as I mentioned, they only come, I don't know, maybe three, four, five, six, depending on the business. You'll do a 10 deal, 12 deals, decent deals in a year. So what about those other 350 days? So
Hmm.
you got to play along, you got to swing that time, and then opportunity would come definitely. And if you're not swinging, then you'll not get the opportunity. But if you're swinging, you'll get that opportunity. So yeah, I mean, that's about it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm putting a lot of emphasis there because there are so many sales professionals and the sales warrior, I call this name, who are in the connected with us. And this, if they learn how to handle this situation, definitely, that's going to impact their life in a positive manner. I know a lot of people who moved out of sales and joined a different profession, and but they miss the important element, how to deal. So.
Right.
So thank you for bringing this up. And
Also, the
yeah.
journey of the sales also every day makes you meet new people. Now that's a very positive or a high of being a salesman, even if you're
Mm.
not clicking the sales, even the orders are not coming through, even the deals are not getting matured, you're meeting new people every day and you're talking about their business, their personal story, their motivations, and how the other colleagues work. And one customer makes you meet the other customer. So, I would say meeting new people, different people every day is very positive and very refreshing. That basically keeps you going also.
I always tell in my content in my book as well that sales is a serving. You're serving someone, right?
Hmm.
So obviously
Yeah,
there's some transaction according into that, and that's where the business happens. I totally agree. But you are
sure.
serving, you're solving a problem. No person
Right.
in the world will give you money if they are not getting anything from you.
That's right.
Right. So, and also, I also admire sales as a most creative job
It
because,
is indeed. Yes, I fully agree.
yeah, because as you mentioned, you are meeting a lot of people, you are talking them, you are trying to analyze their problem as an expert. Obviously, we don't have a doctor degree with us, but yes, we are solving a real problem of that society.
Hmm. I agree. No, it's a very creative job, I would say. Each conversation is new, each conversation is different, every person is different, every company is different. So yeah, you got to come up with it. new way, a new rhetoric, a new dialogue, a new thought process in every conversation. So you got to be creative. It's not
Mm,
that, I spoke something to one customer and the next meeting I'm speaking exactly the same thing.
mm,
That's not the case. I mean, of course, so you got to make sure there's this new thought or a new dialogue, and basically the newness of every meeting. You need to
definitely.
be
Suresh,
uh, pretty creative. That's the only way you can hold conversations. Otherwise, you would have a conversation which would run for 2 minutes, and that's it, and then you go. And that's not how relations are built. So you got to have meat in your conversations, in each conversation, new topics in the conversation. Yeah,
mm.
that's about it.
And generally we call it as a, the sales guys are the partner in crime. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's the most common statement which we heard, but we are the one who are actually partner in their success.
Yeah.
Because because that's where because you are drafting the roadmap for them to reach to that level which they have thought about, or maybe they are
Mm-hmm.
willing to thought about, right? And they have
Right.
never think about that something happens. So, and I loved your concept of building a relationship. That's the
Mm.
critical. So
Right.
sometime again, out of my curiosity, sometime it happened that maybe you haven't won the deal, but you made a very good friends, which is still
Yeah, yeah.
with you for many years.
Absolutely. That's very critical. I mean, they say sales is a byproduct. It's by the way. You're actually building relationships, meeting new people, creating friends, and sales just happens during this journey, during this whole activity. So when you meet a new person, you like his thought process, or you like his thinking, his outlook to life, and basically you gel with him. They say the vibe
Mm,
matches, and then you don't think the first day that I'm going to sell to this guy. What you think is, I'm going to make him my friend. That's it. That's what you think.
mm,
So basically it's about, yes, creating that relationship, building friends throughout the journey, yes, helping them sometimes in the context of us selling something to them, and sometimes not in the context at all of selling the product, just having a chat, just helping them, they helping you, like a human being. And
mm,
sales happens in during all this happens. You don't really look out for that, let's talk to him today or make him my friend so that he can give me an order. It doesn't work that way. You got to be a friend first, and the sales happens by the way. This is
the
what I think.
relationship, the trust, the positive vibes, the
Yeah,
person who is not so pushy, the person who think
exactly.
about like this. It's
That's very important what you touched upon, pushy. Some people say that salesmen are very pushy, and I'm completely opposite to it. I'm not pushy at all.
oh,
Being pushy would irritate your customers a lot. I would
mm,
think about myself. If somebody pushes me a lot to buy something, I would stop probably answering his calls. I
mm,
probably block him or her. And
mm,
nobody likes that, so you need to be very subtle in your communication. You have to follow up, of course. You are answerable to your organization, your bosses, your managers. But at the same time, that doesn't mean if your boss is asking you to follow up on something, and get him an update, and you call a customer and he's not answering the phone, and then you
mm.
feel that it's so important to get an update, then you call him again in 20 minutes, again in 20 minutes, or dropping him a message. That will come across as a very, very pushy salesman, and you would be doing more harm
Mm.
than doing anything positive around it. So yeah,
Mm.
you have to be very subtle while selling. Never be pushy, I would say. Never ever.
I like to bring one important aspect here, which I think every salesperson on this planet is facing. We just completed the quarter two, right? The September, right? And the way
Yeah,
the calls has been, generated by the salespeople to the customer because of not because they know the process, but
hmm,
because of the timelines which they are working in, the pressure of closing within that September month.
within that time. Yeah.
So even I got a lot of feedback from my clients, not from that same, and they were complaining about the sales professionals. that, why you guys are calling us or something like this, so that it
Yeah.
will be, so the important message which you bring here is respect your sales profession. Don't become
Yeah.
pushy.
Right.
Nothing will
Absolutely.
going to change.
Absolutely. That's very important.
Now, I want to touch base because at your position, you are talking with a lot of C-level executives, right? You're meeting with the CXO, CTO, CFO, all, every time. How you handle their thought process, because their thought process are totally different. They're always heard they are just point to point people. They just give you 5, 10, 20 minutes time, not more than that. So this is a very pressure time for any person. How you handle that thing, and what advice you want to give to the other sales guys?
I think I don't know how to put that, but to sell to a C level or to anybody, you have to make your problem his problem. If he starts associating yourself so much that he thinks that, let's say Yatin has to do a particular project, maybe a
Hmm.
sale also. You communicate with him, he associates himself with your product or with your problem which you want to solve. And in that journey, he starts thinking that this is my problem actually, what? I need to do this. So if you are able to translate your problem into his problem and he becomes so emotional about that thing, which I care about, he starts caring about the same thing, then I think you really gel well with the customer. Then your problem is solved. Then whatever you have started your journey with, what you want to achieve will easily happen. Basically, moving your motivation to his motivation and gelling them together, that's the easiest way. I would say I would talk to the C level people, or I would say I don't really differentiate between C level and the junior guys or the middle level management. Similar, this all similar. It's just that when you're able to bridge that emotion where he thinks that this is not Yatin's problem, this is actually my problem and I need to solve it, and he
Hmm.
starts gunning for you, he starts working for you, that's when you should be relaxed. That's when things go on autopilot. That's when things would happen. That's when deals will come through. That's when everything would happen.
Hmm. And that's where they understand that they know my problem very well. So the person who knows your problem definitely have the solution.
Yeah, example, you know you've been uh, you've been following up with me for this podcast, and unfortunately, because I mentioned to you I was traveling a lot in the last 1.5 months, I couldn't find time to do it. But after your 3 4 calls or something, i I felt that this is my job. It's my obligation also to give this podcast. It is not Deepak's problem. It is Yatin's problem also to do it, to finally do this session. So the moment I started feeling that your work was done, because it became my problem, because I wanted to find time, and then I definitely did. So it's a very similar story what you did with me. And I started associating with yourself, with your need, with what you want, and it came on to me, and then it was like, this is my thing, let me do it for him.
Mm. Thank you so much. But yes, exactly. So the way, not specific to this conversation, but yes, for the wider audience, this is something which they have to really think about it. Just make first of all understand what the problem your customer is having. Give them a
Mm-hmm.
time. Give them
Mm-hmm.
a that feeling that you know what you're talking about, and
Yeah,
definitely every relationship will take time, and here the business relationship will take their own sweet time, and you have to
absolutely.
appreciate and give respect to that particular moment. So don't be
Absolutely.
pushy, but be empathical. Definitely, if you
Right.
are solving their problem, definitely they will come back to you at in.
Right.
So,
Right.
but yes, important part here is when you talk about the relationship, right? Now you are in a industry from last 2.5 decades, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are a brand in the sales domain. But what
I
about the
don't know about
people?
that, but yeah.
You are definitely
Okay.
you are. But what about the people who are uh, let's say from with a span of 7, 10 years or 11 years of experience in the sales, but they are not, in the market, or they are yet to become a brand, right? So what advice you want to share with them, that how they can position themselves in a respectable, domain, so that they will also get the same great feeling.
I think people who have 6, 7, 8 years of experience, I would say they are probably in the best time of their age. They have so much motivation, so much enthusiasm, so much energy, uh, so much newness about everything. They don't have a baggage of thoughts or baggage of expectations or baggage of history. I think I would say I'm jealous of them.
Ah.
They have the right time. Now, that is the time when you actually have to invest in yourself. That's the time to work really hard. That is the time when you build relationships which run throughout the life. That is the time when you also invest in yourself through continued education. So I would essentially say they need to try everything and anything and everything during this time, for the next 7, 8, 10 years from the time, let's say somebody is, I don't know, maybe around 25th, 25, 26 to around 35, 36. This is the best time. Try everything, work as hard as possible, given the hours, uh, give the passion, use your energy, use your youth, use everything you have, put everything in your work, and you will be super successful because this is the prime time. And if you know how to leverage your prime time, you will be a not even a brand, you'll be a super successful guy, you'll be an entrepreneur, you'll be, I don't know, CEO, head of sales, or whatever you want to call the big positions. So just try and do maximum. I would say live your whole life in those 10 years.
Mm. So the people in within that domain understand this is a very, very important message which Jatin has given to you. Don't underestimate yourself, because most of
Yeah,
the people in this experience level, they basically underestimate themselves. They
that's right.
told,
Yeah,
they just started how they are going to talk with the maybe a customer senior manager also, right? Forget
right.
about the general manager, but senior manager. Guys, learn how to do, what to do, become expert in your area. I'm not saying become R&D expert, but
Mm-hmm.
become that how, what problem you're solving. Because I have
Yeah.
also seen the people, that they are only solving us one piece of the puzzle. They are not
Mm-hmm.
able to talk bigger things. So it's a very
Mm-hmm.
important message. And thank you, Yatin, for sharing these important golden words, because most people lack this thing.
No, as I said, this is the time when they have to try everything, and this is the time what very senior people actually envy. They
Mm.
want to be in that phase. So don't think that you want to be in their phase. It's the other way around. They want to be in this age, not the other way around. So they are at their best age. Do whatever. Talk to any a guy, a young guy, let's say, I don't know, maybe 30, 32 years old, um, wants to talk to a CEO who is 55 years old. So don't think that he would not like to talk to you, or that you're wasting his time. He would be very eager to talk to you because he wants to talk to a fresh mind, a younger mind. He wants to know what is the young generation think about things, what is relevant to that generation, and basically a whole new perspective to things. So they want to talk to you. It's not that that you would be wasting their time. So don't underestimate yourself. Your age is your weapon, I would say,
Mm. Wow.
and leverage that. Don't be shy to talk to CEOs, CXOs, COOs. That's the time when they will want to talk to you.
Mm. And also, they always admire the people who are courageous. Yeah,
Yes,
because the courage is important. I remember making the first call is the most difficult task for anyone.
absolutely.
So learn how to handle that pressure, because this is the fight which you are, fighting within yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because you have never did this thing before. But try to
Right.
make the first call, try to find what happened after 10, 15 calls. You will obviously become expert. So
Absolutely. I don't know about expert. What I say is I'm a student of the life. I don't know if I become an expert of a call or not. Even today, if I go to a sales call, I think I'm very similar, or I feel very similar to my 10th call, because I'm talking to a new customer, a new person with a new problem, with a new industry, maybe,
Hmm.
who has different motivation. So I don't have a cookie cutter. I can't learn a paragraph and start narrating in front of him, you know.
Hmm.
So you have to, you have to a knack of starting a conversation, making it interesting. But there is no cookie cutter. I'm equally nervous, I would say, today, that compared to when I was on my 10th call. And that nervousness is good. It's positive. It's not negative. You know,
Uh,
it helps you. It helps you. It helps you in a way that you make that meeting your best. Don't
hmm.
consider after making, I don't know, I've done 20,000 calls in my year, let's say, I don't know, 50,000 calls in a year. If you consider it that it's just another 51,000th call, let me just go and talk to him quickly and come back. Now, that is the worst thing which you're doing. But if you go
Hmm.
to a call thinking that this is a really important call for me, it is as important as it was 12, 20 years back, and I have to give my best in this discussion, in this meeting. That's how you would have a good meeting, or a good discussion, or that'll be a good sales call, I would say. So don't think
Hmm.
that you're expert. Never think you're an expert. You
Hmm.
should know your work. You should understand the customer's problem, but please don't understand that you are an expert. You don't know how the other customer is going to react to what you think, or react to you, or how friendly will he be, will he not be friendly, what kind of a person will he be. As I said, every call is different, every person is different. So go to a sales call with your preparations, but don't think you're an expert.
Huh. And that's where the storytelling comes into the picture, because you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
make stories and you have to
yeah,
make a practical example, relevant
yeah.
examples, so that they can start considering you as a part of their team, not as an
Right.
outsider.
Outsider. That's right.
Right. Now, once we move into now, I'm pretty sure you are still making a lot of calls, because the our organization, our industry is very huge. But where do you think that people generally fail? Not on the call. Maybe their first call has gone through. They reached to the next level. They have given a presentation. Now, when you start giving the presentation, your expectation starts building up, right? But the problem happens when it goes when you are not reaching to the conclusion, means the award of that particular project or particular requirement. Then what type of challenges which you think a person should avoid, a sales guy should avoid, so that he should be, remain to his focus and don't become pushy.
So never think that a deal is done till the time you get the actual purchase order in your hand. Or rather, to that extent, I would say till the time you do not get advance deposit in your company's bank account or your bank account. Till that time, that sales is never done. So never be so confident that that the customer has promised you something, and the deal is going to come.
Mm.
You have intel, insider information within an account, and you've been told that there are very extremely high chances that you will get the deal, and you start celebrating. Or the CEO of the deal is very positive discussing with you, so you think that you've got the right message that the deal is through. That is not the case. you know there will be X number of variables which will keep coming through the entire journey of that deal, which can throw you away from that track which you have been treading. So you have to be very meticulous, very particular. I mean, do your best till the last date, till the time either you get the deal or your competition gets the deal. Don't think that it's in your pocket. So keep on doing your best every day, every single time you meet the customer, or every single time you send him a proposal update, or every single time you send a piece of information which you need to send to complete the sale. Do it in the best fashion. Don't think that now I've got the deal, I'm okay. This meeting is so easy. I've already got the deal. It's okay. Or let me send the information tomorrow. I've already got the deal. So don't do that. Never be super confident. There's a saying in sales. There's always a slip between the cup and the lip, right?
Mm.
So till the time you don't sip the tea, it's not yours.
Mm. Very important message, and that's where that's a dark time of any sales process,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where again, I want to relate it what you mentioned few minutes back, that when you become a really in a low state, the low
Mm-hmm.
emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where you have done your best, but still, what is the outcome? We are not fully aware. So guys, it's very important. You are hearing it from a technology sales leader. Take this note. This is important. Implement it. Think about it. What the words he has given, he has said. This will change your sales. First of all, thinking about the sales and also will help you to shape your future into a successful sales professional. Thank you. Thank you so much. I know it's a very, very extensive topic. I'm not going to discuss more into that part because our time will be a very short for that. But thank you
Yeah.
for bringing this point. Now, today, if we are talking about the emerging markets, right, especially from a African context, uh, people say it's a developing market, but the way this country has been developed, again, it has a combination of countries. What exactly you think? What is the area which is needed for Africa to become, to reach to a decent level?
What is a particular area where these countries should focus?
Particular technology, it should focus on the technology, the adoption of the technology, how this Africa react with the new innovations. What are the opportunities in Africa which which they can capitalize or can grow?
I think the biggest advantage of African countries is the demographics. They have amongst the youngest population in the world. Now, young people can do a lot. As I mentioned, they are in the best employable age. To do that, you have to have a good education or a decent education to say. I don't mean that you need to go to a Western school to have good education. Wherever you are, just have education there. So I would say education is really important. If the country or the government focuses on education somehow, that's the that's the biggest thing which the country would reap benefits from. Some people may say AI, some people say machine learning, some people will say cloud in data centers, and countries should do this. But what is it? What all of it is holding on? It's holding on education. So education is really important there. So all the African countries have a very good demography. They are very young, making sure that these guys are educated to the right extent, and they are employable, and then making sure, not even making sure, and then if they're employable, they will be getting jobs in the relevant industries, relevant circles. Some of them will become entrepreneurs. They will hire more people. So I would say education is probably the best area to invest, the best area to concentrate, and having maximum number of employable people is the right asset which you guys have. There are countries in the West, I don't know, maybe Switzerland or something, they hardly have young people. Now, how does the country survive? They actually import people. When I say import people, means they
Talent.
have policies which are conducive for immigration, and a lot of people from within Europe, move there as well. So they need people. They need young people to do the work in that country. So European countries don't have that asset. They don't have the young people, but African countries have that asset with them. So leverage that asset through education, and 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 then become productive country.
Mm. But we heard about a lot of the facilities are not present. The infrastructure is not available in Africa. So if you want to make Africa as a global leader, not at par with the technology, how factful these things are? Because you have been to, I think you have covered each and every country in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So how much truth is this, and what is your as per your expectation, what timelines the Africa could reach to that level?
See, I probably am not the right person to answer these questions, but I will try.
Mm.
Uh, to my mind, I would say yes. The countries in Africa, particularly a lot in West Africa, they lack infrastructure.
Mm.
Uh, but other countries fare a little well, but of course, most of them lack infrastructure. But a person like me, a person like you, we also come from India, right? The
Yeah.
infrastructure wasn't there, the best of infrastructure wasn't there, but still, most of us persisted, right? I mean, today, the Googles, the Metas, the Amazons, the biggest companies have their
Mm.
CEOs as Indians, right? They persisted in the same infrastructure, what I would say a typical African country would have today. They went to the best schools, or these best primary education schools, not best, simple primary education schools,
Yeah.
and then went on to uh, become alumni of the top 10, 15, 20 schools in the globe. All of them, a lot of them are from MITs, from the Harvards, from the Kellogg's, from Oxford, while they studied in an environment which did not have infrastructure or had a very low infrastructure. But what they persisted, and where our Indian managers are today. I mean, they're the
Yeah.
CEOs of almost all, I would say, 30% of the Fortune 500 companies.
Correct.
So don't really think that, don't be a victim that, you don't have infrastructure, so you can't do anything. So, yes, there could be better infrastructure. Yes, Silicon Valley is the best place to launch a startup. Um, yes, if you have access to 350 million people with a with an average GDP of $4,000, things are very easy for you. But without that also, I mean, how India's growth story happened,
Mm.
with such low GDP per capita, but such high numbers. India made it big. India is global leader in many of the things, and the path on which we are probably going to be number one in a lot of sectors.
Mm.
So, I said, don't be victim. Within the limited infrastructure you have, you got to persist, and you got to do your work. And then, if opportunity comes, you can even go out, or you would like to give back to the society. You would like to come back and then create some infrastructure for other people. So it's not that big a deal, I would say.
Mm.
Yes,
I
being in America, being in London, or being in UK may help. As I said, the best place to launch a startup is Silicon Valley. That may help. But if you don't have it, then what? Then will you stop doing anything? No, you'll still
mm,
continue to do your things.
I love that statement, don't be victim. But that
Yeah,
is important, and most of the people take it is as an excuse of not putting their resources.
right.
And be resourceful. What is available, try to. And now with the internet in your hand, with the help of
Exactly.
smartphone, that's where the options are.
Very right. Very right. With the internet, you're as good as anybody else in the West.
Bruh. Uh, Now, important part here is because you handle the people from various geographies, various culture, and you as a leader is still handling the multiple, team of multiple people. What type of challenges you are facing right now, or not right now, but over your career, and what message you would like to share with aspiring leaders who are into a similar situation of handling people or team from a multiple cultures?
You know, I would, I usually things are not complex, so I make them very simple. And again, to answer this question is very simple, is, respect is the most important thing, which you have to give to your colleague, your customer, to your car cleaner, to your helper, whatever you want to call it. So you have to treat everybody with respect and dignity. So, you may have your team members from the from the one of the smallest countries in West Africa, and you may probably have somebody from New York working in your team. So, but that you have to give the same amount of respect to both of them. Giving the same amount of respect and dignity is the basic which you have to to in any culture, in any team, in any company, in any country. So that's to the basic. You have to give respect. You have to give importance to the customer, every, so not the customer, every person you're talking to, and talk and behave with respect and dignity. And I would say in any culture, this is not even appreciated. This is the bare minimum you can do with anybody in your team, outside your team, in your customer environment. Be he the junior manager or be the CEO, you got to treat them with respect and dignity. That's the only way you will have a good team. You'll be a good leader. You'll be a good manager. You'll be a good sales guy. Uh, that's what I think. It's not rocket science. I don't have 10 points to tell you in this.
But this point which you mentioned, most of the people miss it.
Absolutely. People
Yeah,
don't
and that's
don't focus on this.
yeah, the respect, dignity, as well as empathy. This is still these are the values, right? And if you have to grow up, and you will only grow up when you are helping others to reach to that
Exactly.
level.
Yeah.
Hmm. And
They say treat others the way you want to be treated, isn't it?
yes, yes,
So
exactly.
that's about it.
Hmm. I agree. And definitely we are dealing with humans. We have not reached to the stage where we are talking with robots. And we know
Yeah.
how the experience is when we are dealing with robots or
Yeah.
bots nowadays.
Right.
Uh, okay. But one thing which generally come in my mind, why people missed these true values when they become manager or when they become leader, why they missed it? I mean, what has changed, right? Why they stop respecting others, or why they start becoming so pushy or so commanding, I must say, not pushy, otherwise it will be different, but so commanding.
I think that's also, I don't know, I'll call it probably uh, a human nature. When you become successful or when you become big, arrogance starts creeping in you. You think that you are at such a level that you can command respect, or you can force people to do your things because you have become successful, because you are at a position of command.
Hmm.
So the others must listen to you. You can talk to them the way you want to. You would assume that they are not so successful. You would assume that they must listen to you. They must take your orders. Uh, Basically, the success uh, gets to their head,
Hmm.
and arrogance creeps in. And that's when you start not treating others with respect and dignity. And that's how people miss. I mean, I don't know if I also become a CEO of Google tomorrow. Mhm. I might be the same. So success gets onto your head, and as I said, arrogance creeps in. So we got to be down to earth always, and work by the principle of treating everybody with respect and dignity at whatever level you are. So yeah,
I
probably.
wish you reach to that stage. And if something is happening and you're debating, I will play this broadcast for you again, so that
Okay.
if that can realign your thoughts. So
Right.
I would be happy to do
Yeah.
so.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
But yes, well, this is important because that's the reason. This is a very a different situation because nowadays I'm talking with a lot of entrepreneurs, right? And people who just started their own ventures. And over the time, for few years or maybe a couple of years, they are doing really good. But when they get some investment or when they get some start getting some money, immediately the behavior gets changed. And your message,
Immediately they are. Sorry.
their behavior, their attitudes towards the team start getting change. And
Right.
the message which you have shared right now, it's very important, not for like obviously it's applicable for all the humankind, but for those lobby who actually shifted their gears, who shifted their thought process, who shifted their tone. That is very important for them. Thank you so much for bringing this up. And it also give me a, obviously I'm also a human. It also give me a some food for thought that Deepak, am I doing something wrong also? So it's for self improvement as well.
But let me tell you, it's easy to preach, but difficult to follow.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah,
every podcast I'm learning something new, believe me. And
yeah,
that also motivates me to, move, take some few more steps.
right, right.
Um, as you're talking for about the entrepreneurship, right? So what mistakes you have seen with these young entrepreneurs, who have started building their own products, own company, what mistakes they are doing and why they are not able to make a lot of success, bearing 1 or 2 or 3 for 5% of the passionate people, the remaining 95% people, what's the common mistake they are doing?
Actually, I think I can answer this because I also am a failed entrepreneur. So during my 23 years of career, I spent 4 years working on my startup as well. And as you see, I'm back in job, so that startup really didn't fly. So I would say execution is the difference between the 95% and the 5%. All the plans are very good, all the business cases are excellent, and and all the all your all the analysis which you would do on your future prospective customers would all be best. You would have gone through the best and the worst of um, uh, cases, case studies. The problem is that when we make all of this, uh, we continue to wait till the time all of these things are perfect. We don't take that small step, the first step, which probably needs to be taken even before the money comes into your bank account. Money means the investment comes into your company, or even before you invest your first dollar. You
Mm,
have to start working, not work. You have to start walking from day one. You can't say that let me finish my business plan, let me first set up my website, let me first build my sales deck, let me first get $100,000 of investment, let me first do XYZ, and then I will move. That is a mistake which I committed. I don't know about other entrepreneurs. You got to move from day one, and all these other things will will keep on falling in place as you move along. So there will be no perfect time, or there will be no perfect environment after which you will start. You got to start in the imperfect environment on day one and start and walk and do your thing. This is what I think.
impressive and very thoughtful. Because when you are telling about all these things, I was thinking about there are two, three names which has come in my mind, which they are the people who just started their entrepreneurship journey after 10 years of their professional career.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now the biggest problem is they are telling, or I always tell them, you are making an excuse that you're always blaming others.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get my landing page executed, right? Let me
Right.
get my Paytm, my payment gateway, integrated with my thing.
Set up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just telling them, guys, you do all the things, but how you make sure that anyone should pay you $100 or maybe a $1? You
Right.
know, back end
Yeah.
work is okay, but what about the
Yeah.
front end?
Front end. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
most of the entrepreneurs are, again, the people whom I met most of the time, they are engineers. And
Mm-hmm.
engineers really feel shy when making a call.
Yeah. Yeah.
When making a call, they
Mm-hmm.
assume, the people will come to them, or they just meet and greet in the networking event, and then they think that their job is done.
Right.
So, so for those people, right, the people, the engineer become entrepreneur, what message you want to give it to them?
Engineers becoming entrepreneurs. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are successful entrepreneurs are also engineers. So, message I would, I mean, I would really not think engineering as a completely different. education education format. You know,
Mm.
in India, the way we used to talk is bachelor's in honors, bachelor's in commerce, bachelor's in sciences. Now, this happens to be a bachelor's in engineering. So don't think that, you are a special person just because you're an engineer. And
Mm.
don't think that you you have a very analytical mind just because you're an engineer. Don't think that you can understand the problems much faster and easier because you're an engineer. I promise you, there are much more capable, intelligent people working in the field of arts, where
Mm.
creativity is required, working in the field of numbers, finance, commerce. So engineers need to know that they are not the best in the world, and they need to compete and do the things like all others do. And they need to see the world through that lens, not through their own lens that they are superior. So that, I think, some people, probably some engineers, do think in that way. This is my opinion.
Agree. Fully agree. Fully agree. I also think about the same way which you rightly mentioned in a very
Yeah,
simple words.
yeah,
Hmm. And I think that particular thought process become a first and most important reason for their failure also. Because when you cover your, or when you block your eyesight with this type of lens or this type of wafer
right,
in front of them,
right.
definitely you will not take some opinions. you
That's
know
correct. That's
you will
correct. Absolutely.
you
That's the
know
perfect mantra to fail.
yeah, yeah, because
You have to
because
learn from everybody. You have to listen to everybody.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And there are so many, in startup events I witnessed even in the last week also. There's also a lot of startup booth and everything was there. And
Mm-hmm.
to my surprise, everyone was selling the similar thing.
Mm.
Everyone was having a AI avatars, and I was just saying, guys, I don't understand AI fully, and the big companies
Yeah.
are spending billions of dollars to just create a AI, product, and still they are into
Right.
into the testing mode.
Right.
And then you just coming from a college and still studying in second year or third year, and you are just
Mm.
making an AI,
AI driven product.
fantastic
Yeah.
thing. Either it's a flavor which you're putting into. If it's flavor, then leave it on us. We can make it more beautiful. But
Right.
again, what you're bringing on the table, and believe me, people don't have the idea what exactly they are going to solve the problem. You
Yeah.
know, and sometimes as a mentor, when I try to tell them, and I get a lot of pushback also, because we generally can tell in India, यहाँ ज्ञान मत बांटो, यहाँ सब ज्ञानी है. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I agree.
mm, I don't know what will be the future. I wish them a best of luck. I wish them that
Yeah.
they should succeed. They are creative minds. They are courageous. Again, this
Yeah.
is
They are
again a
correct.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They are courageous. They started something of their own, where they are getting a money. But this half knowledge is generally a more painful and more dangerous for the whole society, for the whole
Mm-hmm.
ecosystem.
Okay. Yeah. I agree.
And nowadays, it generally looks like, sometimes it's a startup bubble which may
Mm.
burst anytime.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
The
So
AI
with this,
bubble.
the AI
Yeah.
bubble, the startup bubble, everywhere is bubble. The real estate
Yeah.
bubble, I don't know
Yeah.
where. And at one time it was the internet bubble,
Internet
.com
bubble.
bubble. Right. Perfect, perfect. No, sir, thank you, Yatin, for bringing all these points. First of all, it doesn't look like an interview; it looked like a discussion, right?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
and the your thoughts, your few mantra which I have written down, it's don't be victim, be courageous, don't be pushy, to tell the stories, make the relationship, give the time. All these are important aspects, and most important, which I love the most, respect and dignity.
Yeah. Yeah.
These all pointers are something which is really required in this digital age, but don't lose your human values.
Absolutely. That's the most important.
Any
That's
last message which you want to share with our audience
any last message.
on this
I
podcast?
think There's one thing which I also sometimes have missed and I failed to is they say you learn from everyone. Be it your in India, they use a word called sweeper, who cleans your streets and stuff. If you have a small conversation with him, there also there'll be a learning which you can add to your arsenal. So there is a learning from every person you interact with, and don't ignore that, because who are wise people? Wise people are the ones who actually don't do mistakes probably, or learn from other people's mistakes. So it's an extension of that thing, is everybody has something to teach you to. Everybody does teach you. There's a learning from everyone. We often ignore it. I have ignored it. I ignore it even now. But I've read in the great people's biographies, and whenever they do interviews and stuff, they say they learn from every conversation. They learn from everyone. They learn from the person who's the most junior person in an organization. They learn from the person who's in the senior most person in the organization. You learn from your helper. You learn from your driver. Just keep learning.
Mm.
Yeah.
And don't lose this learning habit, because
Yeah.
that makes that keep you on the ground all the
Right.
time, and
Right.
keep and remain your mind to remain open, right? That's what
Absolutely.
it's all about, the mindset.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you, Yatin, for all these wonderful mantras which you have given.
Thank you,
For
Deepak.
me, I have taken a lot of points. For yes, there are so many refreshers which has been done, and uh, and thank you for keeping that human values alive, because
Mm.
I think if someone asks me what is the biggest take from this podcast, I will say this is something which maybe I may going to miss it, or maybe something which maybe I'm going to ignore it, but with this podcast definitely I'm able to recollect my thoughts, and from now onwards definitely the my mindset and the way of looking the things will definitely get changed back to the normal, back to the
Great.
back to the student.
Back to the student. Yeah. So sorry, I couldn't give you any gyan on AI. That's the flavor of the year. I still stuck to the basics. That's human values.
By the way, human values cannot be copied in the AI.
In AI, absolutely right. They cannot be generated.
That cannot be generated.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That is right. Thank you so much, Jatin, for
Wonderful.
your time.
Thank you so much for having me here at the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Okay.
And until to our global audience, until next time, this is Deepak Bajaj signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.